Hey, you athletic fanatic, you fans, you subscriber, you curious onlooker. Hey, get entertained, my friend. Don't just watch Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie in Italy. Go to Tokyo. Just be curious what's happening in the land of Suzuki, Honda, and Japan. That's right there in the middle of the city of Japan is the World Championship. If you didn't know, if you've been sitting under a rock or in a cave somewhere, get up, snap out of it. And don't get too excited and then carried away and Google that. Listen to me here. I have a perspective, my subscriber. Hey, thank you for being there. I'm kind of very aggressive today, but I'm excited too. I woke up to rain in Northwest. I did. It was soaking wet. Took a drive to an aborted game. What do you call aborted? What is this when you give up or not showing up? Anyway, it's Northwest. It's raining. I don't think it's raining in Japan. The humidity is almost 80 and it's at night. And it's an event called 10,000 meters, almost 6.2 miles around the track, 25 laps. These athletes, man, just from the get-go, you'll be like, well, is this marathon? Is this a 10K on the road? What are these water stations doing? That's the reality of the world we live in. It's hot. It's very hot in Tokyo. And I have to tell you this. When it's that hot and you're warming up for an event like 10K, you are like, well, I got up. Let me just get up and go race, because these guys were sweating before it was time to sweat. They were profusely under the weather of Tokyo. Did you watch that 10K? What did you see? These guys, they want to run around. They were like, let's just jog. Let's just, in fact, they were slower than the women. The commentators were like, these guys going to finish this race today? Yeah. I think they would have gone for 2 days and the results would have been the same. The same? No. This was one of those races. You're asking yourself, who is gonna surge, make a case for this 10K to be worth watching? I see why people will just turn it off, mute it off, and say, well, come and see the last 2 laps. You are right. I felt the same way. It was slow, rigid, anything but. There was a little bit of interchanging of leads. This is the first time I saw Ethiopians intimidated by the weather. I don't think Berega of this world tried. Eric Gawe was nowhere to be seen. The Kenyans keep Kirui. I think Fisher, the American, and Nico Young made a case for themselves a little bit. But I think the highlight of the 10K, if I may say the highlight, is in the middle of the race, where a man or 2 runners from Japan, Suzuki, I said it, Suzuki, took a lead of some guy, Kasai, from Japan, and the crowd went nuts. They were like, here we are being represented by 2 Japanese. Hey, they're at home. It's good for cameras, it's good for national channels, it's good for national feeling. And I'm happy the crowd came to life, because the race was quite slow for men. Men are known to be running 27, 26 at the top level. This was looking like a 29, 28. And there was not really much action until there was action in the last mile. That's when you say, where you got, what you got. People are positioning themselves for something. Who's going to make the strike for home? Who's going to run for that kill? There was nothing still until it was time to put the gauntlet down. Who put the foot down first? I couldn't even tell still. I think Echelcha tried to push that early 600 meters to go. Grant was in the mix. I think it was a big group of top athletes. These are like top 26, 27 guys. These are not pushovers. Kenyans were in the mix. It was traffic. It was run for home. Who is Jimmy? What is his name? I even forgot his name because I've never heard of this guy. Who is Jimmy Gressier from France? Who is this dude? What is this? But let me tell you something. if you watch that race, you have to know that it wasn't just how physically able you are. It's how mentally tough and tactical, and you position yourself in the right place. So when you strike, because anybody could have won the race when you think about anybody, but there's only one guy who won the race, and he's from France. The first non-African other than Mo Farah is being a non-African. That's almost like, are you kidding me? He's from Somalia, but he represented Britain back in the days. This is the first time we're seeing a non-African in a long time winning the World Championship from Ufaransa, Jimmy Gressier. No idea who this guy. But when you watch him in the races, in this development of this 10K that was anything but, you could not separate. But he was the smartest racer I watched when I went back to dissect and see what he was doing. He was just present. He stayed, he was leaning on the rails. You know what I mean? But you are taking the shortest run on the track, which is the inside lane. Let everybody else fight out there, and he was brilliant. When it came down to it, was I surprised? No, really. I'm an observer, and I'm not saying I knew this guy's gonna win, but I say this guy is still dangerous if it comes down to the penultimate lap, which came down to it. I think Kenchelcha, the Ethiopian, did what he's supposed to do. This is the first time Kenchelcha has done what he's capable of doing, win a medal. I'm happy for the Ethiopian. Hamalgren, I think the Swede getting a bronze was an emotional thing for him. Another non-African to do that. It's been a long time. And this is what I say about these events. This championship, as we move forward, I'm noticing something. It's coming down to, it's tactical, it's mental, and it's not all about how you cannot stretch the field out these days. You cannot run people out of their feet. It's about being in the right position, being ready for the last 200 meters. Kipkirui, I think, was the best Kenyan we had. I think he was fourth. I think Grant Fisher faded to fifth. Nico Young was around sixth, around there. The Americans couldn't find their legs at the last 100 meters like anybody else. It was a top three. Jimmy Gressier from France winning the first ever 10,000 meters distance for France. Wow. I couldn't see, I didn't see this, but like I say, you cannot write this script anywhere else. This is why we watch track and field. Is the unpredictability of it, is the drama of it, and is who the hell is Jimmy Gressier? He wins the world championship in 10K, hands down. But that heat found everybody else on that field. You can give them excuse. I mean, the collapsing at the finish line was telling. These guys were wasted. Marathon is coming up. My God, in Tokyo. Take it to the ocean somewhere. That was it for the 10K. I'm going to parade another event here that was fascinating to me because we had some good things. I think you've watched the results, but I'm giving you my perspective. 100 meters women. 100 meters women. Ha! Let me lump it for you. Women. Melissa Jefferson Wooden. 10.61. Best in the world championship record. She's been on top of our winning streak. She's been winning. She's a winner, national champion, bronze medalist from Paris last year. It is said that she took that bronze medal after winning it last year and shoved it in some shelf somewhere and told herself she can do better. Does she do better today? Yes, she does. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, Wooden. She solidifies her case of why she's been the best of the world in the world this year as a 100 meters champion, hands down. Surprise for me is Shericka Jackson. As much as people can talk about winners, is how somebody can come back from injuries and remember she's a defending world champion in Jamaica and even make fourth place. I was happy for Shakira Richardson. I was happy for the matriarch freezer. This was the best of the women, as far as I'm concerned, assembled in the final. We had the matriarch of this world. We can talk of Talou Jose Smith from Cote d'Ivoire, making the final, still being relevant in this day and age. Among the youngest, Tina Clayton winning a silver medal for Jamaica. That bodes well for Jamaica, my friend. The youngest winner in that big stage of 100 meters. Clayton. She's going to celebrate that with her twin sister. I tell you what, that was one of the best I've seen in a long time. Don't forget the bronze medalist. I don't think she's been as great this year since Olympics, winning the gold. Julian Alfred to win bronze, the first bronze for St. Lucian. That's a small island, my friend. She represents a big family of St. Lucian. She won the bronze. You don't go around hanging your head on that. You can see her picture behind me, right there. I always don't forget. But I tell you what, I remember in Eugene when she got beat by Melissa. She was not the same. She is not the same lady we saw in the Olympics. Sometimes it gets into your head. And she avoided Melissa Wooden until she got exposed here that she wasn't in her best this time around. But she runs her season best. She gets a bronze. Ahead of her was the youngest. But the talk of the day is the winner, Melissa Jefferson Wooden. What happened with the men? What happened? What might have happened was this. I always try to make a case for anything. Just trying to give me my input. To see 4 Africans in the final. Nigeria Ajayi, Akina Simbine, Letsile Tebogo, and Gift. What's the last guy's name? The Gift Lotella, another South African. To see these athletes from Africa being in the final in the World Championship. 4 Africans. Oh, my friend, is a renaissance. I've said this. I made a case for this uprising, this new crop of athletes that are coming from Africa. Of course, our local Fenidad Omanyala from Kenya could not make it through. He was just dismissed, I think, in the semis, if I remember. But we are still, as a continent of Africa, people think Africa is all about distance running, the East Africans. But to see sprinters, Leslie didn't have, I think he got the best of him. The nerves got the best of him. He gets disqualified before the gun goes off. But to see this crop of African sprinters bodes well, and the future looks good. We are coming, LA, from the continent of Africa to the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. That's a good sign for sprinters from Africa. But what's the story here? The story is that Seville, Oblique Seville, the Jamaican, is 3-0 against Lord Niles, the Olympian. He's beaten him 3 times now. They've met face to face. He had a horrible his round. Remember that. Don't forget, people are written him off in the early rounds of these 100 meters. But I've always made a case for this kid. It is even said Usain Bolt believes is the next one, is the next phase of sprinters who might threaten his world record. Did you see this kid? Did you see how he does it and goes WW with his shirt? Keshan Thompson fell short. He had a great start, but he fell short when it comes to pressing for home. Where's Noah Lyles? He gets bronze. Kung Fu Panda. Did I say Kung Fu? Kung Fu Kenny. I say Panda. I'm hungry. That was 100 meters, my friend. But the story here is Oblique Seville, the Jamaican. 1-2. 1-2. Jamaica versus America. That's the story of the day. And the island, the reggae nation, is still a force to reckon in the biggest world stage. People, you can write off the Jamaicans, even to see the Clayton in 100 meters, these twin sisters, and to see even Fraser Price, still coming fourth. No, she was fifth. To see even the final. You never say never in Jamaica, my friend. The reggae nation was here to tell us they're a force to reckon with. And wait for the 4x100 meters relay. Wait for that. Let's see how that pans out. Americans historically, they tend to drop it. They misfire sometimes. I can't wait to see 4x1, because after winning 100 meters or winning and coming second in the 100 meters, it's getting hard in Tokyo for the right reasons too. That was my take. On the other side of the pillow, there's more to come in from Tokyo. This is day 2. Peace from Tuokoriothana here, the host. Shalom, my friend, the winner, Jimmy Gressier, the French. Who knew Napoleon Bonaparte had a cousin who could conquer the world in 10K? Did I say that? I did. See you again. The side of the pillow. I gotta stretch my hands. Oh, see you later on the other side.